For decades, families in cars and minivans loaded down with beach chairs and bicycles have cheered upon crossing the Cape Cod Canal, which marks the starting line for a Cape Cod vacation. However, for fishermen focused on catching big striped bass, the canal is not a crossing point, but a destination itself. The Cape Cod Canal is a fishery like none other. Its strong currents and rocky drop-offs funnel huge schools of herring, menhaden, mackerel, and striped bass of all sizes within casting distance of shore-bound anglers. The same conditions that make the canal such an incredible fishery also make it a challenging place to fish. Big fish and strong tides can test tackle, and at times, crowds of fishermen will test patience. Canal fishing requires specialized tackle and techniques, and canal crowds call for adherence to unspoken rules of etiquette. It can be an intimidating place to fish, but fishermen who take the time to learn the mysteries of the canal are often rewarded with big striped bass. On a day when strong full moon tides had drawn mackerel and stripers into the canal from Cape Cod Bay, I met Chris Megan and Patrick O'Donnell of On the Water on the Cape side of the canal for a midsummer striper bite.
Big thing of mackerel coming your way, guys. Oh, look at it, just turned him. Oh, I just whacked one.
I don't know how I'm missing them.
This is gonna be one. Ho, ho, ho. Look at them being pushed up right there in the corner. Nobody's in front of them.
Oh, a lot of bait's starting to go by now that the current's moving.
They got picked up a little kubla.
You get a fish pick up that mackerel?
Yeah. I think we may stand to get bigger fish on this side, you know?
Yeah.
All the fish I saw this morning coming from this area were big fish.
It's one of the benefits of using that single circle hook that you got on there, is it should be a quick, easy release for that smaller fish.
The nice thing about circle hooks is, you know, button right in the corner. There we go.
It's starting to turn on now, definitely. Smaller fish, but good to see life. Try not to get you wet.
Just a beautiful fish swimming off. So it's just starting to turn on right now, but I can tell you with all the macks that are starting to come through, you're gonna start to see some bigger fish in here.
Boy, look at him blitzing on the other side, Chris.
That's what I'm saying, Jimmy's on them. Look at them being pushed up right there in the corner. Nobody's in front of them. You see it?
Yeah, you'd want to be there.
This is gonna be a slob. I like to toss him out there and let him swim for a little bit. Give him a little bit of line, keep the bail open, especially if you got a really fresh one. He's gonna act as a little fish finder. He's gonna try to scoot out. He's out there alone right now, so. Big fish just rolled right on the surface out in front of that sailboat. See them breaking out in the middle?
Oh, they're breaking out there now.
So we got big fish that are starting to move in now that are breaking. They're within casting distance. They're gonna be out in front, right behind this sailboat. Here we go, Kev.
Nice, Chris.
That was out in the, that might be a better fish because it was out in the...
Yeah, I see head shakes. It's taking drag.
The fishing the last few days have just been very, very good down here. With all the mackerel that's in the canal, this morning was just epic.
Here come a lot more mackerel.
You can see the mackerel passing right in front of me, as close to shore as I can, because they know if they venture out a little ways, it's over for them.
The current's not running that fast right now, so you don't get the same fight. You're not fighting the current
That's
as much as you
exactly it.
usually
Right
are.
now, we're just turning current.
That's a nice bass.
It's a nice fish. It'd be a keeper. This would be the one you want to eat if you want to eat a fish, but... Oh, button right in the corner. I think I have a feeling if we stay here, these fish are going to get bigger and bigger.
Nice, Chris.
Thanks, buddy. Easy, fella.
Yeah, it's a better fish than you realize. Look at the belly on him.
So these things with the macs that are in here right now, they're gorging.
Yeah.
I think that's a fish, yeah. Oh, that's a nice fish. That's a two-hander.
Two-hander to get him in.
Oh, that is a beautiful fish.
There we go. That's a nice one.
Get these up in Maine like this.
The strong currents, rocky bottom, and crowded conditions make the Cape Cod Canal an intimidating place for visiting fishermen. So I met with dedicated striper surfcaster Roy Leyva of Shimano to get his advice for anglers looking to make their first casts into the canal. Roy, one of the questions we get all the time from people is, what do I need to go fish the Cape Cod Canal? I've heard about it, I've heard there's big fish, it's intimidating. What are the kind of the basics of what somebody needs to start fishing the canal?
Well, ideally you want two setups.
Okay.
And the reason why is, one, you want distance, mainly when you're throwing pencils or surface plugs, actually with anything, because a lot of times the fish are out of reach, they're coming down the middle, they're chasing bait.
Usually they're on the other side.
Yes. It always looks like they're on the other side. Now the guy looking for, can only afford one rod and one rod only, I would look at something between 10.5 to maybe 12 feet,
Okay.
in a medium to medium heavy, fast action. And then you want a reel that one is fast in line per crank. So
pick up line
yeah,
quickly.
pick up line. You want that to be really fast, at least 40 inches per crank.
And why is that important on the canal?
Well, you got a lot of rock. You have a extreme fast drop off on the edges. And if you're jigging or you're fighting a fish and you've got to get them up over that ledge real quick, that fast pickup just helps because you can get it right back in without hanging up into those rocks.
What about a leader and clip setup?
I tie straight,
Okay.
usually FG knot is what I prefer. I like long leaders. I'm usually fishing anywhere to 50 to 60 pound leader.
Okay.
If
Fluorocarbon or?
Fluorocarbon, yes, yep. And if bluefish show up, then I'll go to 80 just because
Right.
it saves some lures.
So you mentioned good to have two rods, one being more of a plugging rod and the other one would be a jigging rod. What do you look for in a jigging rod?
Definitely heavy, heavy and fast. On a huge moon, you're looking at tides that can rip as much as 9 knots.
Right.
That's a lot of current.
And on top of how heavy of a jig, I mean...
I think at slack tide, you can get away with like 3.5, 4 ounces. But as that tide progresses, you're gonna need 5 or 6 ounces on a normal tide. And I mean, I've thrown as much as 8 ounces in here just to be able to bounce the bottom twice before I can't do it anymore.
So what do you look for in a rating on a rod to handle something like that?
That's 3 to 6 definitely at the very least.
Okay.
And higher depending on if you want to go throw 6 and 8 ounce jigs.
And do you need a more powerful reel or anything to match that heavier rod for jigging?
So we recommend starting at Sphero, Saragossa, Twin Power, and even Stella. And I know Stella, a lot of people, you look at that price tag and it's like, whoa, but I mean, you ride up and down these bike trails, there's a lot of Stellas.
There's a lot of them.
There's two things. The gear, it has to be quality gear. 2, the etiquette that comes with it.
Right. It is something that can be intimidating about fishing the canal as you get down here like we did this morning, and the bite's been good, and so there's guys every 10 yards or so. When you don't want to cross lines, you don't want to make anybody angry. So how do you handle it? What's the kind of canal etiquette? What are the unwritten rules?
That's it. There's a lot of emotion that comes with fishing.
Right.
And it goes both ways. I mean, the guy who's catching fish doesn't want to be bothered, and the guy who's not catching fish definitely doesn't want to be bothered. And you get a lot of that, you know. But I've always told people, you know, if you're going to come down, you're going to fish right next to me, at least say hello, you know. And to ask questions, find out what I'm throwing, what I'm doing. I don't have to tell you all the secrets, but to know if I'm jigging or if I'm throwing a popper or if I'm throwing a metal lip swimmer, that all is relevant because we're fishing current. If you're jigging, you gotta wait for one guy to cast and then the next guy and the next cast, and you all go in sync. So if somebody's trying to jig in the middle of 5 guys throwing a plug, it just doesn't work because you've got lines that are crossing at 2 different speeds. Most guys down here are friendly.
Yeah.
I mean, all the old timers, I mean, but a lot of us have put in our time. It's kind of hard when someone comes down and just wants to muscle through, when none of us mind anyone fishing, just as long as everybody plays fair game. And I think that's what it is. I mean, especially now with all the social media and stuff, there's just so many people here on the banks, and there's so many people, you know, everyone has to learn somehow. You start somewhere. No one comes here and knows exactly what to do, but that's a good start. Just be courteous, you know, be friendly, find out what's going on, you know, and that's it. Those guys will be happy to share a tide with you.
When we could no longer stand watching the bass blitzing on the other side, we decided it was time to move.
They got them pinned right there, man.
We hopped in the truck and crossed the Bourne Bridge to the mainland, hoping to intercept the fish as they moved east.
So earlier we were getting some fish on the Cape side, and but not as consistent. And across from us we saw that there was mackerel being pushed literally up on the shore. Steady action for about 2 hours. So we fished the Cape side, picked up a few fish. We were across from the radar tower, decided to make the call of coming across here. That's what's nice about the canal bikes. Makes us very, very mobile. So as you're riding along,
There's one.
nice, Kev. As you're riding
Dropped him.
along, you can cover a lot of ground. Ooh, zip down. Almost pulled me off the rocks.
Yeah, they're hitting hard.
I wasn't ready for that.
Oh, right there.
There you go, Kev. Oh, you buttoned him in the tail. It's funny, you can go all along the canal and you can have stretches where there's nothing, and then you can have stretches where it's just on, and this is clearly a spot that's on. Got some nice moving water though, and these fish are hitting.
Chris, that's
Really healthy.
a beautiful fish, Chris.
That's a gorgeous fish.
Look at all the mackerel coming in front of us right now, chasing
So
by.
I'm gonna go ahead and walk this guy right up. Not gonna put him way up on the rocks, but it is treacherous on this. This is where a nice set of pliers comes in very handy. All right, buddy, you just soaked me.
You never get warning with that. It's always when you least expect it.
Beautiful striped bass, guys, huh?
Nice
guy-
fish, Chris.
This guy's gonna take right off.
Even though it's the middle of August right now, you can feel how cold this water is because it all came in from Cape Cod Bay. And that's why you've got mackerel and you've got fish feeding. Whereas the rest of Massachusetts right now, it's like summer doldrums. It's tough to get a striper from shore anywhere else.
Fishing Shimano. I've got an IMX 11 foot, medium heavy, with a Saragossa 8000. I'm a little bit heavier on my line. I got 65, just because it was all I had in my bag when I broke one off early this morning. I had to put on a top shot of 65. And Kev's got the exact same rod. I think he's pretty much with a IMX as well, but I think he's got a 10 footer.
There's a lot of days here on the canal where, especially in the springtime and in the fall, where the fish are coming to the surface out toward the middle, and you really need to cast far, cast long to reach them. And that's when, like, having a long cast outfit, 11-foot rod really makes a difference. Today, they're chasing mackerel right up to the side, so it really doesn't, you really don't have to cast far. We're just lobbing baits out.
I like landing next to Kev and then trying to grab one of his fish.
So a lot of guys talk about canal etiquette, and basically what you do is the most important thing is you never cast over the person.
This guy's going
upstream.
for a swim up top.
This is a magical place. A lot of guys in the summertime they'll travel up to the mountains of Maine or New Hampshire for the beautiful splendor, but give me the canal any day. I mean, you don't see things like this anywhere else.
Give me the fresh water coming down from the Maritime Academy, being pumped out in the outflow, and just, you know, enjoy it.
It's not only discouraged, it's actually illegal, but hey.
I'm not sure he's actually swimming. I think he's bathing, which I'm not
That's
sure.
true. He might be in the loophole. That was an on-purpose swim, right?
That was it. I absolutely took his shirt off and everything.
So when you got, canal etiquette, you got 3 guys fishing in a row here, and you let the downstream guy cast first. He starts swinging right to left. I go second, right to left, and then third guy would go. And everybody gets to fish, nobody crosses.
The other thing you do is the guy usually up current starts bathing first, and then you let the soap float down to the next guy. He's gonna use the soap. The key there is not to push the bar of soap out too far, so it's easy to grab. Then once you're done with the soap, shampoo.
Now see, I always thought it was the guy downstream bathes first, so you don't get the filth from the guy upstream.
But you can't get the soap to him when he's upstream.
I gotta see the different strokes.
Looks like some shampoo's coming down.
It seems like some of the best spots in the canal when this mackerel bite's going off, it's toward the center of the canal. You get these kind of sharp bends.
I agree with you.
And because when you get the strong current running east or west, it actually will hit those bends and deflect. You get more eddies, you get a little more current, stirs the water up. It seems to trap the mackerel in this area.
And it also looks like, as far as the mackerel are concerned, they don't really want to go into Buzzards Bay's water. They like staying in the colder water of Cape Cod Bay. They'll work their way on the west side all the way down to Buzzards Bay, but they'll kind of make their way down there. As soon as that current turns, they'll come back. So the sweet spot is right where we are, kind of.
There he is.
There he is, Kev.
Oh, one just hit a mackerel right in front of you, Chris.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I got to get right back at that spot. He took a swing at it, but I think he came up on it, and I had a little weed. Kev's tight. I'm going to be tight in a second, because they are right here. I'm going to let that guy swing right into the sweet spot. I cannot stay clean.
You know, I took off every treble hook except the front one, and maybe miss a few more fish, but you don't get as many weeds.
Boy, right in front of us there. And that's the canal. It goes in waves. We're sitting here, kind of nothing for 5 minutes. Then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, the whole thing just breaks loose. Mackerel being pushed right out of the water, jumping all over the place. Unfortunately, I'd made a long cast, and they were really right at my feet.
By late morning, the increasing boat traffic had scattered the bait. After debating a move to another location, we decided to stay put and see if another wave of bait and stripers would come through on the east-moving tide.
All right, so Kev just cast, and he was gonna wait for me to cast. So I'm in the penalty box for a couple minutes. That's part of that etiquette we talked about earlier.
I think work etiquette overrules canal etiquette.
I think it does. Look at the bait up ahead of us.
Oh, the bass are just right behind him. Nice, Chris.
Come on. Come on.
There it is. Look at that.
For catching stripers from shore in the middle of summer, there's no better place than the Cape Cod Canal. Put in some time, learn what you can from the regulars, and before you know it, you might become a dedicated canal regular yourself.
Here at On the Water, we want to bring you the best content possible across all platforms. If you'd like to see more, make sure to follow us on Facebook. Explore our Instagram page for a curated media feed. And subscribe to our expanding YouTube channel for the most up-to-date content only from On the Water.